Professor Kevin McGuigan is Director of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland's Solar Disinfection Group, and he has big news about a project team he's working with in Malawi. Kevin, welcome back to the show.
Jerry, thank you very much. It's good to talk to you again.
And good to talk to you too. I remember the day you came in. Do you remember the day you came in with the bottle of water and explained to me what you discovered? When was that, Kevin? It's a while ago, isn't it?
That must have been more than 10, 12 years ago. Talking about solar disinfection and the way you can treat contaminated drinking water using a plastic bottle and sunlight. God, there's been a lot of water under the bridge since then.
There has, and Kevin, don't mention water under the bridge in Ireland. If we don't get rid of it soon, we'll go bananas. Anyway, that's for another day. Kevin, tell our listeners about this Malawi project, please.
Oh, well, it's a project that's funded by the Science Foundation Ireland under what they've called the Sustainable Development Goals Challenge project. But really the problem in Malawi, well, one of the problems is that they have a large number of district hospitals and rural health clinics that don't have access to water anywhere on their premises whatsoever. So the patients and the staff have to rely on people bringing in buckets of water just for their hygiene purposes. So as you can imagine, that's not ideal. So my team here in RCSI, Kuba Gajewski and Chiara Patalis, and a group in Malawi, the Malawi University of Business and Applied Science, we've got together and we did a project where we tried to address that. We installed harvested rainwater tanks that we collected the rainwater from the roofs of the clinics, and then we stored that in 20,000 litre tanks, and then connected it to essentially much bigger versions of our plastic bottles. It's a big solar disinfection reactor. So we were able to treat 250 litres of rainwater every day and then pipe that directly into the delivery room in the maternity wards of the health clinics and the rural hospitals. So we've been doing that for the last 2 years. And the way that the Science Foundation Ireland have the program is there were 4 or 5 separate projects looking at different climate related challenges. And then at the end of it, we all pitched for one prize of over €1 million, and our Malawi project was successful. So we heard earlier in the week that we've got 1.1 million to expand this project to other clinics around Malawi. And the hope is that we'll be able to manufacture the reactors in Malawi so that they're not relying on these technologies that are imported from outside of Malawi. So it's really exciting news. We're hoping to have a real impact on the patient outcome for mothers and babies, because if you think about it, there's very few things more dangerous to a woman's health than giving birth. It's about the risky thing that you can do medically in your lifetime. So anything you can do to improve the patient outcome has a huge impact. So we're really excited about this.
Congratulations, Kevin. It is a huge success for you and your team, and what an injection of money and what that can mean to people who urgently need this assistance. Now, come back to the process again for a moment. As you say, clean water, absolutely essential, and in a maternity context as well. Just for listeners, we have an impression of Malawi and Africa and the climate, etc. Can you get enough water from the skies and do what you do and work your magic to have that supply constant through the year?
Well, we're very lucky insofar in Malawi because they do get a lot of rain. The problem with climate change is you can no longer predict when the rain is going to happen.
Right.
And so this year, the rains were delayed until January. You'd expect them around November, but then they've continued until May. So we've had 5 months of rain. And the way our system is set up, the tank fill, we've got 20,000 litre tanks, and they fill up really quickly. So from having no water on site to a lot of water available straight away. So it's very interesting because when we approached the hospitals to begin with, they said, "Oh, this is interesting. Yeah, it would be a nice backup." But the last time we were there in May, they were saying actually it's now our primary source of water. So there is sufficient rain. And even if the rains are unpredictable, the nice thing is your roof is always there. You can always collect the water off the store in the tanks. So now the scientific challenge is to see, well, how long will that stored rainwater last for. We can treat about 250 litres a day. So from December, we've had full tanks until the end of May, and we're hoping to get 2 or 3 months out of what's left there now. And if there are sporadic rainfall even across the dry season, we can collect that. So we're moving into the unknown. We don't know how long that rainwater will last, but we're certainly able to provide rainwater for 9 months of the year, of the 12 months this year, because of the way the rains have fallen. Now, there's other parts of Africa where you wouldn't have that amount of rainfall, but we're very lucky. And this is why one of the reasons why the project was targeted at Malawi.
Yeah. And Kevin, I suppose then it comes down to a question of storage, does it? That you do it more storage capacity at each of the sites? Is that an option?
Well, we originally were going in with 10,000 litre tanks, and then when we talked to the hospitals, we realised actually that wouldn't be enough. So we've put in two 10,000 litre tanks, and our feeling is the more tanks you can install, the better. So we're going to look at the budget and see how many tanks we can afford to provide on the additional sites now in the next phase of the project. We're expanding it to a larger area. The climate conditions vary over Malawi, so we're going to go far north, which is much drier, and see what the impact there is. But the big problem is storing the water, catching as much of it as you can when it's there, and then using it wisely.
It's fantastic, and I don't mean to say this lightly at all, but it's a process. There's not a lot of complications involved in this process in making the water safe for human consumption. Isn't that the beauty of it?
Well, now, be careful. We're not making this... This water isn't for human consumption. This is for hygiene.
I see. Hygiene only, not for drinking?
It's not for drinking because the way that the tanks collect the water, they pick up other types of bacteria that we might not even activate. But the fecal contaminants, the water meets the drinking water regulations for E. coli and for general coliforms. It's compliant with EU bathing water standards. So, but the nice thing about it is, the water's there. It is suitable for the hygiene purposes, and there's no moving parts on the reactor. The only moving parts are the inlet and the outlet valve. There's no requirement for electricity, so it's kind of self-sufficient apart from maybe monthly cleaning of the tubes. So that's the big advantage of it.
Okay, and that's an important point to make. I beg your pardon, it shows my ignorance of it, that I didn't understand that, but I do, and we all do now. Thanks for clarifying that. But it's a huge boon to the maternity wards in these hospitals, and you just couldn't underestimate the difference that this is making out there. Kevin, I have to leave it there for today. Keep on doing what you're doing. You're a great fella and wonderful team. Congratulations to you all, and spend the money wisely.
I will, Jerry. Thanks very much.
Thanks for joining me, Kevin. Take care of yourself. That's Professor Kevin McGuigan there, Drogheda man, who's director of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland's Solar Disinfection Group, and a big win for them there, securing over that €1 million and beneficial to people who need it badly.